All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Just give us a second here while I am setting everything up. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to be sharing this. Share to 1 second, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'll keep you entertained while Carlo is dealing with the technical stuff.
Learning this whole online game right now and just making sure that we're doing all the right
Where are the
things
kids that
here.
help us? No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see here.
If you're tuning in now, please leave a comment. Please leave your name and your location in the comment. Let us know where you're listening from. Even if you are from San Diego, just let us know what you're up to. What are you doing?
Let's see here. I'm trying to see. Okay, share to. Oh, share on the friends timeline. Here we go. That's what I want. Okay, so that's what I want to do. I was sharing this on. Just want to make sure that we're sharing this on Diana's Facebook feed as well. So good afternoon, everybody. I love her art in her room. Yeah, I think you're gonna love a lot about Diana, Tiffany.
Hi,
People are commenting on your art in your room. So and Diana, you may want to have like another window in your Facebook feed because you may not be able to see the comments. I don't know if you can see the comments on your end.
Yeah, I opened up another window. I can see it.
Okay, cool. So I can see them. So good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. In an effort to stay productive, I recently invested into this platform. People have been wondering, what is it that you have here? This is called StreamYard. There's free versions of it. And no, I just want to do my part to help out, my fellow entrepreneurs, put out people that I believe are just really making a difference, making an impact. These are people that I know personally. And all this time that we're kind of in self-quarantine and isolation, and a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people have really had to go out there and reinvent themselves and recreate themselves. And I've always been interested in getting into the podcast. That was something I was working on before all this started. So this is a way to kind of still do that. And I've been wanting to bring this person up for some time. I even told her months back, like once I get a podcast going, you're gonna be on that, buddy. So I want to introduce my good friend here. She's an empowerment coach. I've known her for about a little over 6 months now. She's been kind of a huge influence for me on a spiritual level. We had some very unique conversations about life, meaning of life, purpose, spirituality, personal development, growth. And, she's moving to the coaching space and making an impact on people's lives. And I see people following her. I see the way she's helping people. I refer people even that I know within my family who she's helped. And I want you guys to get to know her today, hear a little bit about her story, what she brings to the table, and how she's helping people during this time. So, Diana, say hi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Carlo, for having me. I always enjoy our insightful conversations. So this is a treat for me too. Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Well, I guess the first thing starting off is what made you decide to become a coach?
I mean, my journey, like anybody's journey towards what they're doing, is not linear, right? Like I didn't think, oh, I'm going to become a coach like 5 years ago when I started on this journey of self-discovery and self-exploration. I think my journey really started just wanting to be a better human being than I was, being in the place I was in, which is in New York, where I'm from, and living a really unconscious life and being really unhappy, having acquired a lot of the material things that society tells us that we need to be happy. And then I got everything and I was like, but I'm still not happy. So there's got to be something more to this. And so, I always considered myself to be a seeker of, I don't know, anything, answers, depth, just always trying to push the limit. So I'm like, okay, I have all this, career success, financial success, everything that I thought I needed, and I wasn't happy. So that I started digging, I knew I couldn't live my life on the surface anymore. And so, even being as accomplished on a physical plane as I was actually really miserable, and also an alcoholic and a drug addict, a very functional one. And, I couldn't continue to live like that anymore too. So which I didn't know that I was going to be sober through my spiritual journey, but it was just like an accident, actually. I sought out a shamanic healer. I sat in my first ayahuasca ceremony, and all of a sudden I'm sober. And I'm like, well, this is weird. You know what I mean? I didn't expect that. And then like all of a sudden, like life started to shift and transform. And like within like 2-3 months, I was living in San Diego, and like I didn't plan for that. Like things just start to unfold and align when you start getting in touch with who you truly are, and what you're really meant to do in this world. And sometimes, it's not the way that you expected it. So, I didn't decide to be a coach. It just landed in my lap as part of my need to share healing, right? To share this sacred path of spiritual expansion. And because it's given me so much, it's healed me, it's given me true sustainable peace and happiness in my life, it's transformed every aspect of my life. And like part of me, when I got there, was like, I can't be selfish with this. Like I can't just be like, oh, okay, I know the way and I'm good now. You know what I mean? Like I had to share it. So part of me, being a coach is really wanting to share everything that I've learned in my journey of healing, self-transformation, ascendance, like all of the tools and practices that have worked for me, to give that and pay it forward, and to give people the tools to get out of their own personal prison, to allow them to build more sustainable happiness in their lives, because there's so many people suffering in the world. And like, I'm not a person that can just watch other people suffer without trying to do something or trying to have an active part in making that better for them. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and one question I have for you is kind of how you came to spirituality. And I think that's I don't know if you grew up around a specific belief system, faith, creed. What led you to really become a seeker from a spiritual perspective?
Well, I actually grew up Buddhist. I grew up for like 10 years at a Buddhist temple from the age of like 5 to 15, where I would like pray and meditate with monks. Like it was like a Hebrew school, but like for Buddhists. So it's like every weekend during the school year, all summer, every summer. And I mean, as a child, like you're just hanging out, like you don't really know what you're doing, right? So I didn't get back in touch with my spirituality until like much later in my life, when I was at my wit's end and like wanting to take my life. And it's like God coming in to save you in that way. So it's like, when you think about spirituality, people sometimes think of religion, but in reality it's like, it's when people say the universe, or spirit, or in nature, nature is a spirit, that's spirituality. So yeah, I mean, I'm not religious because I don't do any religious practices, but I am very, very spiritual. And so sometimes that to me is just taking a hike and like connecting with Mother Earth, and that's spiritual,
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of, and spirituality is one of those things when people say it's, well, I'm very spiritual. And I want to talk about that and kind of get your take, because something, to me, spirituality can be, sometimes people say, oh, I'm spiritual. Well, what do you mean by that? Spiritual means it's my connection to a higher power, God,
Right.
the universe. For some other people, I'm spiritual, and it's more of a morality or a discipline of the way I live my life, what I put in my body, or an embodiment of the whole. How do you view that for yourself?
How spirituality shows up for me in my life is keeping my channel clear, so that I'm always in connection with that higher power. So that when I need to take action, I can hear the guidance that's coming through. So that when I need to make a decision, I can trust the gut, the intuition that is in my body, because that's how spirit communicates with us. Like, we are the vessel that holds the soul in which we are, right? This multifaceted, multidimensional being that we are. We're being harnessed in this body, and it's also our connection to, it's like the antenna that we receive all of all of the information from. So it's like, when you're not taking care of your body, when you're poisoning it with substances, or when you're not eating healthy, or you're just not taking care of your sacred body temple, it really prevents you from having that connection. It creates confusion, it creates static and noise, and the signal doesn't come in as clearly, you know? And so for me, it's always about keeping my channel clear. And that could mean just lighting some sage and clearing out the energetic fog, you know, doing yoga, opening up channels and energy centers in the body to release this energy. Because, you know, the same way people think that like we have to process our food, we have to process our energy the same way. We have to process our emotions the same way. It's all, you know, just because it's not visible doesn't mean it's not real. It's very present in your field, and being very aware of what's in your field. That could even mean what is the TV shows and movies that you're watching. You know, what are you intaking mentally in your experience? Like, are you on Instagram just, you know, not like taking in garbage? Because then your whole antenna is messed up.
Exactly. And that's a question I have for people as people are kind of tuning into this. I know we have a few people on right now, and I'd like to ask the group to comment if you're open to this. Is, you know, what are you struggling right now? Because we're going to get into this whole coronavirus and the impact that it's really making in people's psyche. But what are something that you're struggling right now? Whether it be, man, I find myself being more anxious, depressed, boredom. I find myself, I'm drinking more, I'm eating more. You know, what are you struggling with right now that maybe it was a struggle before? Because if you were anxious before, I believe if people struggle with some anxiety or some form of depression prior to this pandemic,
Right.
that has to be now exacerbated, or, you know, it's got to be at another level now. But I'm just curious to know what people are struggling with personally. And because I know that's a realm that you're diving into, and I want to get into that with you, Dee. And I want to ask you also, what sets you apart from other coaches in terms of what you do?
Yeah. So you want, we want the people to comment below what they're struggling with. Yeah, let us know what you're struggling with. I'd love to address certain people's concerns specifically, because I really want to really help whoever's listening right now. If you are struggling with anything, please write it in the comments. We want to know. I want to hear about it, and I can just help direct this message directly to you and your experience. And, you know, for me, anytime that I am having any type of anxiety or any type of just, you know, disruptive frequency in my field, I really have to address it. I think a lot of times people like to push things down because we deem these emotions and these thoughts as being negative. And so it's like, well, I'm going to stay positive and I'm not going to think about it. And it's like, you want to try and ignore the problem until it goes away. And that's actually not the solution. The solution is always to go deeper into it. You're feeling anxious, examine it. What is it? Why are you feeling anxious? What are you afraid of? Right? And really facing that shadow aspect of yourself and your emotions and processing it, right? Like I said, you have to process your emotions. If you're feeling depressed, why? Sit with it. Meditation, right? Meditation is an amazing tool to quiet the mind and get into the body and feel what it is that you may be avoiding. Because the solution in figuring all of that out is going deeper into it. The only way out is in. there is nothing that there's no band-aid that we can cover this up with. You know what I mean? We have to go into it. And like, I just wrote a post on this the other day on my Instagram, where it's like, the healer is not afraid to look at the wound. And we all have the capacity to heal ourselves and be our own healers. But we have to be able to look at the wound. Like, if you think about it, we have, like, if you got a thorn in your arm or in your side, would you just try to like dress it up with band-aids and then like wear shirts with holes in them? No, you have to take the thorn out. You have to treat the wound. So if you're feeling any types of negative emotions or uncomfortability during this very transitional time that we're in, there's a wound there. There is something that is needing your attention. There is something that is needing you to heal. So let's get into it. Like, really sit with yourself, do the work, get a journal, start writing things down, just jotting what you're feeling. Allow yourself to process what is coming up for you right now, because it's coming up for a reason.
100%, and I kind of feel, that saying is like this is happening for you, not to you.
Right.
And I feel like it's I love what you said right now. It's like, the only way out is in. You have to deal with yourself at this point. There is no escaping you now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think processing whatever wasn't working or whatever's being exacerbated in your life, anxiety, whatever it is, like, okay, I have to deal with this.
Yeah.
And that's something I love about what your work, as I've got to know you, is what can you offer people? Obviously, as an empowerment coach, and the way that you coach people, what can you offer people at this time that are just really going through some things, man? Whether, I lost my job, I'm going through some financial issues, I'm just going through some things right now.
Yeah, I know. I felt into the collective heart the other night, and I just really understood that people are going through it right now, and people are really in a place of feeling confused and lost and scared. And, what I can offer is something that seems very simple and basic, but I mean, it's life-saving. It's connecting to a higher power and trusting and surrendering and letting go of this need to control your external circumstances. Like, there needs to be a point where you sit down and you say, when in my life have I not been taken care of and provided for? And try to think about a time where you were literally like abandoned on the street. Never. There's always going to be a miracle that comes in at the last second. There's always going to be someone with an opportunity that just shows up out of nowhere. There's always going to be a saving grace if you believe that there is a higher power that is guiding your path, that is taking this walk with you. No successful person will ever tell you that they did it alone, because there is always going to be support, whether you feel it's God, spirit, the universe, which can come through people, which can come through chance meetings, which can come through a change of direction. Like, we are rivers that are being redirected. Maybe what you were doing prior to this pandemic was not in alignment with who you are and your true purpose. Maybe you were just selling your time and your life and your energy for a paycheck because you were scared that you weren't going to be taken care of financially and physically in this world. Maybe you weren't living in faith. Maybe you were living in fear. And maybe this situation is now pushing you deeper into faith, deeper into belief, and releasing this fear. Because guess what? When you lose everything, and I've lost everything multiple times in my life, it's the most empowering space you can really be in sometimes, because when you've lost everything, you have nothing. The only way to go is up. You have everything to gain from that place. You can almost do anything because you're like, I've lost everything. What do I have to lose? Nothing. And it makes you actually more fearless. And so, really understanding, shifting the perspective, right? Because we can't control the external world. We can't control what's going on outside of us. And if we feel like we're trying to grasp at that control, we're going to drive ourselves insane. The only thing you can control is what's in here and what's in here. And once you gain that control and master not only your perspective, but your emotional capacity to attach from the reality in which you can control, this inner kingdom within is peaceful. It's calm. It's all knowing that I'm going to be all right. And everything is working out for me. And I don't need to be scared because I'm always going to be taken care of. And I know that, I'm being redirected onto a new path that is more in alignment and it's going to be more fruitful for me in the long run. And seeing it as a gift instead of a curse. And that's going to change everything.
I love it. Well said. And people are starting to comment on here. Good stuff. I appreciate the comments, guys. It's good to get some engagement here. Tiffany said the first 2 weeks of this, I was feeling the anxiety, but I started meditation and thinking of all the blessings that this is bringing to me. Spending more time with my kids, family dinners I used to miss because of work. Now everyone's home. Birthdays I would have missed, but I'm now realizing how little money I need to have fun with my kids in the front yard. So I'm so grateful for my health, my family. So I love that. Thank you, Tiffany. That's deep. Thank you for being open.
Thank you, Tiffany.
And yes, but what I want to share and expand what you talked about right now too. We can look at this kind of two ways, right? Is you can be victimized by this, or you can recreate yourself.
Yeah.
And everyone's, because this is outside of all our control. None of us saw this coming. So it is what it is, right? So what happens to all of us. It's how we deal with what happens. It's how we react to what we're dealing with right now. And this is an opportunity to, I believe, reinvent yourself, recreate yourself. And like Diana said, maybe if you lost your job, put it in perspective. Was it really your dream job?
Right.
Was that really what you're supposed to be doing for your whole life? Or did the universe just say, you know what? You were reluctant to change, so I'm changing it for you. Now you got to make it happen. I look at it that way, and that is such a positive thing, right? Uncertainty, there's a saying that, because we're all going through uncertainty. We don't even know if this thing will be lifted 2 weeks from now. There's a high probability that it's not.
Yeah.
So I look at it as the amount of uncertainty that you can handle ultimately determines the quality of your life.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
I really do, and so this is why we want to create content like this and share ideas, because I believe people are struggling emotionally, like I said, and people are feeling anxious with the uncertainty and anxiety. Diana, like, what have you done as a coach, like to really recreate yourself, reinvent yourself? Because obviously, you were meeting clients face to face. I know you did a few like seminars, and you would speak to in front of groups of people. Like, what are you doing now to kind of reinvent yourself, recreate yourself in this arena?
Yeah, I mean, we are in a place of having to separate physically, but I don't believe that there needs to be a separation energetically. And so what I've done is create an online community of not only just my current clients that I'm working with, but people that have just been in and around my sacred healing circles for a while now. Like I've obviously people, I don't know if people know, but I work with ayahuasca and I organize sacred shamanic journeys, and that obviously isn't happening right now, but I don't think that we should lose touch with the community of people of support. And so I've created a private Facebook group called the Ascension Journey, in which you can join if you are looking for any extra support, if you're looking for guidance, if you're looking for tools, practices, resources. I'll be doing live trainings like this where I can just sit here and answer all of the questions and issues and concerns that you have regarding your specific situation, because I really need to continue to be of service. For me, it's so much. It's so much bigger than myself. You know what I mean? Like it's not about me. It's about what I'm here to do to help and be of service to humanity. And it starts with connection. If I can influence or help one person's life in my entire existence, and my entire life is worth it. And so I continue to try and stay connected on my Instagram, and just try to provide as much value and resources to people during this time, because I think about it, like I'm lucky enough to have built like a very strong, solid foundation of my spiritual practice, and I'm very grounded. So when this whole thing happened, I was just like, oh, Okay, but I realize that like not a lot of people have, and maybe this is an opportunity for them to kind of grow into that space to find more grounded, sustainable practices in their lives.
Absolutely, buddy. You know, and that's something I got to say that I absolutely love about what you bring to the table. People that know me, you know, I'm very universal approach to spirituality. I believe in higher power. I believe there's many paths of connecting, you know, and I think that not everything is so cut dry. You know, you talk a lot about plant medicine, and I think that's something. If you want to know about plant medicine and ancient traditions, this is the person to go to, guys. You know, she has helped a lot of people that I know personally, and you know that's something and these are people that did not get help through the traditional process, right? You know, they are on pain medication, they were on anxiety, depression pills. You know, they were going through all these struggles, and you know, working with Diana, you know, I've seen such a difference in these people's lives. You know, and so that's I'm not just putting anybody up here just because they call themselves an entrepreneur, just because these are people that I have vetted personally, and I know that their heart is pure and that they want to bring value to people's lives. And right now, I just want to bring ideas. You know, it's not just about making money. It's not just about. It's really about helping people get through this, to process this emotionally, so you can raise your emotional intelligence.
Right.
You know, so that you can recreate yourself, so you can maybe start that home-based business that you've been reluctant, or whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Let's see what else we could do. Tell us about your back. You know, and I know you started a little bit about this, but tell us about your background and how you came into this space. You know, because I know you say you're from New York. It's not like you just moved here from New York and you became a spiritual coach all of a sudden. I mean, you did the whole corporate route. You were hustling. You did jobs here and there.
Oh yeah. I mean, in New York, I worked in corporate like the entire time. I was an event coordinator in experiential marketing for 7 years. I worked with all the biggest brands. I worked with every celebrity I ever wanted to meet, and it was so empty and like I hated it. I was like, this is so fake. I can't deal with it. I wasn't in alignment with my spirit. You know, no shade to anybody that does that. I'm sure it's still really fun, but like I was like, this is not fulfilling me. You know, and I came here, and so I was actually working in the service industry just because like it allowed me to really focus on other things. I worked in very minimal like hours, and I think it's a difficult concept, especially in the Western world, to live life for a living, you know, and to really enjoy the the sweetness of life. And so I was doing that for a couple of years while I was just focused on healing myself. You know, just putting my self-care first. I mean, I sat in the last 5 years, maybe like over 60 ayahuasca ceremonies. That's both here in America, in Peru, in the jungle, in the Amazon. I've worked with shamans down there. So, you know, it's been, like I said, it's not a linear path. It was a very winding road of self-discovery. And, yeah, through this pandemic, I was able to like leave my other job and completely focus on being of service to my clients. And I mean, it's when you commit 100% to something, that energy is so powerful. Like this is the thing, when you try to commit to two different things, your energy is split. It's not concentrated. It doesn't have enough power behind either one of those things, you know? And so when this pandemic has allowed me to concentrate all of my force, all of my energy into being of service, and it's just been expanding, you know, just exponentially. And so really understanding the power of clarity and the power of commitment and making a choice, making that decision, right? Sometimes we have our hands in so many pots because we're so unsure that we're like, okay, well, if I do all the things, one of them will be successful. No, you got you got to commit. You got to decide. As much as spirit has our back and it will always guide us towards our highest. We are sovereign beings. We have free will, and God can't come in and help until we decide.
Well said, man. Well said. And you know, I, again, I want to also just kind of advocate if you're looking for someone to talk to. Diana does coach clients, but if I believe if people want to engage with you, maybe they have questions, maybe, hey, I got some personal stuff I'm dealing with, I don't feel comfortable commenting here. I posted Diane in the comments here. You'll see Diana's private Facebook group, the Ascension group. I would recommend joining that group. She's always she just started that group here on Facebook. I think you also are on Instagram as well. So maybe talk a little bit about that. How can people get in touch with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at the Urban Indigo. I do all my content is up there. All my offerings are up there. I engage pretty often on there. And then like you said, I just created this private Facebook group. This is for people that are looking to ascend through this process. People that are looking to transform themselves through this transitional time, that are needing some extra support as far as whatever practices, tools, tips, resources. I'm going to be providing so much free value in that Facebook group, things that I normally only give to my one-on-one private clients. But again, it's like I can't be selfish with this stuff. It's like I was called to share, give, and just give it, because it's on my heart. You know what I mean? I can't keep it here. I need to shine it out. And so that came through for me to start this group, and to just help people with whatever it is that they're struggling with, because essentially there is no separation between you and I, right? When we think, oh, you're in that boat and I'm in that boat, that's not of God. That's not of spirit. That's disconnection. When you understand you are I and I am you, and we are all connected in this higher plane of collective consciousness, that is when you're in alignment with spirit.
I love it, buddy. I love your enthusiasm, but your energy was on today. Really well done, guys.
I drank some cacao earlier. Oh, that's also another life hack for you guys. Drink cacao instead of coffee. It's amazing.
You know what? I haven't tried that yet. What is so good about cacao? I've heard about that.
I should be a cacao ambassador, because I put so many people on. Cacao is an ancient Amazonian superfood, plant medicine, right? So it's another form of plant medicine from the Amazon. Surprise. But it stimulates your brain, and it gets all of your it's my coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't do any caffeine. I would go nuts. But it stimulates your brain. It gives you energy. It gives you life force. It's super healthy for you. The health benefits is so long. I'll have to send it to you later. I'll share it in my private Facebook group, actually. So, but on a mental and emotional level, it's a heart medicine. It actually opens up your heart, as well as stimulating the brain. So it keeps you just in divine, pure connection. And so, I prayed before we got on here, and I'm like, you know what? When I do these kind of speaking events, I let go. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I don't plan much. It's more about allow me to give the message that they need. And so just opening up my heart to receive what is meant to come through me. It's not mine,
Absolutely, man. Well said, man. That's why we love you, man. That's why we love what you bring to the table and how you're helping people.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
My final question, and if you guys ever watch Tom Bill, the Impact Theory, I love this question. And what impact do you want to make? What do you want to, what is the impact you're trying to make in the world?
Oh man, this one's close to my heart. The impact that I want to make is to bring people in alignment with who they truly are. And a lot of the the issues that my clients have or people that seek my services have is that there's so many things that are preventing their knowing of who they are, whether it's trauma, whether it's pain, self-doubt, fear, addiction, all of those things are in the way, and it's blocking their inner knowingness, their inner connection with who they are and
Mm.
their core and their spirit, which is a powerful creator, which is a piece of divine spirit reincarnated in this physical body, and part of why the work with the sacred plant medicine was so important to me, because it is a direct bridge to that connection. It is a straight shot into your highest, most divine self. But recently with my coaching program, I've been offering that in other ways to help heal people of all the stuff that's keeping them locked in this illusion that they are not powerful creators, that they're victims, or or they're helpless or powerless, things like that. So in doing that, right, and allowing people to get connected with who they truly are, what do? They go out and they share that. They go out and they serve. They go out and they help other people. So the ripple effect of helping one person get in alignment with their true divine essence is multiplied by hundreds of thousands times by the effect that it goes out into their circle and their network and just in the years that I've been doing the work with the sacred plant medicine and seeing the ripple effect that it's had in the lives of the people that have come through my circles, and then how they've helped other people, and we've grown exponentially just through word of mouth. Just because once you find gold, once you find something that works and is like truly true, is in alignment with truth, no one can keep that to themselves. They share it. They have to share it. It's in their body to share it. It's in their nature to help their fellow human being. And so that's the impact that I'm looking to have, is just, ripple effect out into the world of so much love.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And thank you for sharing. I think this was good, guys. I hope thank you guys for sticking on. We had a good amount of people show on and comment.
Yeah.
Again, I put Diana's link there to her group. I highly suggest you follow this woman. I think she's just continuing to blossom and grow as an entrepreneur. She's located here in San Diego as well. I know she's helping clients right now. She's doing personal calls, coaching clients. She can meet you through Zoom, so she's there to help. I can vouch for that. She knows what she's doing, and I wanted to have her on. Diana, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Carlo. Thank you for supporting my work and just being a light in your community and to everyone that you come in contact with. You are an example of an amazing positive ripple effect in the world. And I'm super honored to know you and to continue to work alongside you in a similar mission. So thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you for everyone that tuned in and all the people that left comments. I'm going to actually try and get back to each of you. Sorry, I was like talking and channeling, so I couldn't do all at the same time. But yeah, and if anyone is needing any type of support, I please encourage you to reach out to me. I'm here just to share love, and yeah, please join me in my Facebook group. The link is below. I'm looking forward to connecting with you.
Awesome, guys. So, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be doing this every day this week around lunchtime. So just tune in as I bring different entrepreneurs here to share their story, share their message of hope and opportunity to help you guys. It brings much value to you during this time. All right, guys. Peace and love. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.